This is Lake Turkana, northern Kenya, the world's largest permanent desert lake. Lake Turkana seems deserted. However, the windy corridor between Mount Kulal and Lake Turkana is home to several tribes. The Rendile, El Molo, Turkanas and Samburu tribes have lived here for centuries. Not always peacefully, though, in a kind of historical coexistence and acceptance. The tribes are nomadic and live wherever their cattle can pasture. They use the land seasonally for their livelihoods, as well as for cultural, ceremonial and spiritual purposes. The winds of Turkana blow steady at 24 miles an hour and will soon be turning 365 wind turbines made by the Danish energy company Vestas. The upcoming Lake Turkana wind project will be Kenya's biggest energy project and the country's largest private investment ever. The 365 Vestas wind turbines are expected to produce around 20% more electricity for Kenya by 2017. Green, sustainable energy, that is. Several nomadic communities in Turkana, however, question the sustainability of the Lake Turkana wind project when it comes to protecting their rights and land.
We want our land back. Go away,
Ten years ago, the local authorities and the government of Kenya gave the green light to the project and leased 150,000 acres of communal land to the Lake Turkana wind project. The nomadic communities along Lake Turkana generally approved of the wind power project in its first stage. However, 4 tribes today claim that their land was taken away without their consent. The tribes say there were no public consultations by the authorities, nor by the wind project, before taking what they claim is their rightful territory. Therefore, in 2014, representatives from the tribes, mainly led by the Rendile tribe, took the Lake Turkana wind project, the local county council, and the government of Kenya to court for illegal land acquisition.
There was no free prior consent on the issue of land especially. We didn't agree to that size of land to be given to the consortium, and yet attached to that parcel there is another extra parcel which they say is private. Private belonging to who? Our land is never private, it's public land. The land belongs to the communities. It's communal land, and it is in our constitution.
The land itself was illegally given to the investor. The project itself requires about 40,000 acres of land, but they took over 150,000, 110 more, which could have been useful to the people living in Laisamis constituency.
The consortium, the local county council, and the government of Kenya deny all claims made by the communities. The consortium has several times assured that the project would be based on, quote, extensive input from the nomadic and pastoral communities, and that, quote, the project has been developed in compliance with all relevant local and international legislation and standards. In a letter to Danwatch on the 9th of May 2016, the consortium stated, Lake Turkana Wind Project undertook through feasibility studies that entailed extensive consultations with the local communities over a 9-year period, with the goal to ensure that broad community support was in place. And later, they write, consultation and discussions primarily focused on what the project is and what potential positive and negative impacts it could have. The Lake Turkana Wind Project Consortium does not acknowledge the nomadic community's legal right to the land. In their Resettlement Action Plan from 2014, the consortium writes, nomadic pastoralists have customary rights of use to land pastures, however, have no recognizable legal right or claim to the land other than use, The local county claims that the court case is essentially about local tribes wanting more revenue from the project.
The plaintiff raised the issue of the setting apart of the land, the procedure, that's what they raised. But that's just a camouflage. What they want is revenue that is accruing from that project. That is basically what they want. I mean, the issue of the setting apart of the land is great.
No, actually the issue of revenue is not an issue at all in this particular dispute. This was community land that belonged to the greater part of Marsabit County, with the Rendiles traditionally inhabiting the land. And there is a process that Kenya has in the Trust Land Act for alienation of community land into private lands. And this process involves quite extensively public participation. It also involves compensation. And it's an elaborate process that was not followed at all.
Danwatch has been in contact with the Lake Turkana Wind Power Consortium, Vestas, and Denmark's Export Credit Agency. However, they do not wish to comment on the ongoing court case. But on the 9th of May 2016, the consortium wrote to Danwatch, quote, "As the largest private sector investment in Kenya, it was critical for us to operate within the law, but also to the highest international standards. The process included extensive consultation and dialogue with the local communities affected by the project." The land dispute is not the only worry communities along Lake Turkana have. They also fear the increasing negative social effects the project is having in their communities. The Lake Turkana Wind Project promised local communities jobs, and according to a 2011 report, the consortium promised to rebuild the existing school and provide health clinics. Communities in Turkana, however, complain about the Lake Turkana Wind Project not living up to their promises of improving communities' living standard. The area has experienced the influx of people coming to Turkana in the hope of finding jobs in the project. However, there are not enough jobs. The local tribes claim they are now experiencing the negative social effects of unemployment, such as alcoholism and prostitution.
The negative effects of this project, of Lake Turkana Wind Power Project, is that it has brought the issue of prostitution to our communities. Many young girls are leaving their homes to go and do prostitution, sell their bodies for money.
So kama hao unachukulia kama wazazi wako, tunachukulia kama wazazi ambao lazima wana claim shida zetu zote. So ukiona kama mambo zote inaruka wewe, alafu inaenda msaada inaenda kwa mtu mwingine, no uko hapa, unaona huyu mtu ni kama hakujali, ni kama ako mnyama kwako. So inasababika mtu kama mwanamke kwenda kufanya usharati ndio apate maybe kukula, umehangaika kwa hiyo muda mrefu bila kushughulikiwa. So utapitia hapo kunywa pombe ni hapo, utapitia kufanya usharati ni hapo. Unaenda kuchezea maisha mpaka hata ujijali mwenyewe, mpaka hata unasahau shida. So hizo shida zingine nafanya kijana akikaa kwa muda anaanza kunywa pombe, na maybe alikuja akiwa mzuri, lakini hata kama hakuwa anakunywa, lakini kwa vile anaonesha hayo, imebidi mpaka akunywe wasi, mpaka hata analala barabara, hata hajijali.
The Lake Turkana Wind Project acknowledges that these issues are impacting the community negatively. In a letter to Danwatch, the consortium writes, "We are committed to working with the government and the local community to address them. To date, LTWP has supported the provision of HIV awareness training and testing within the communities and the workplace." Some community members in Turkana now fear that the land dispute and unemployment might create tensions and conflicts in the future.
We are just quarters here. This land is someone's, is LTWP land. So we can't beat our chest saying we are in our land. What we are just requesting now is job opportunities. If we are getting job opportunities, we are going to get money and go and buy a plot somewhere and live there. But if you can't get a job, you will fight for the land. That's now the problem which we see it may come in future.
Yeah. Man.